whose education capabilities have gone up. A society which is today looking at housing and home ownership as a basic right. So this is really a very, very different India in the making. Now, it's not just, the socio-economic achievements of the last few years. Look around you. Look around you in Manipal as you travel maybe to Mangaluru, when you go to Bengaluru, as you go to other parts of India. Contemplate the infrastructure changes that all around us today, you could be traveling on that same road 6 months later, it looks very, very different. You could be going to the same airport. In fact, I can see Mangalore airport is undergoing a transformation. So, the infrastructure progress. There was many years ago this movie called Planes, Trains and Automobiles. Some of you may remember it. If you look today at travel by plane, travel by train, travel by automobile, it's a very, very different landscape and a very different platform on which we are navigating. And what is the secret of our ability to suddenly ramp up our performance? The key to that, to my mind, has been our extraordinary digital delivery. That we have created a digital platform which has transformed governance, which has dramatically cut down what are called very politely as leakages, which has allowed these schemes which I'm talking about, these hundreds of millions of delivery that you see. It could be to the farmer for their crop. It could be to the vendor for their unsecured loan. It could be to women to do their businesses out of home or in the neighborhood. And it is actually this change, this digitally driven change, obviously with a vision and leadership to apply that, that is actually bringing about what I would call both a silent democratic revolution and actually a democratizing of technology. Now, obviously, it has other benefits. I will come to that. One of them is to connect all of us. The other is to create a global awareness, which too, I believe, is very central to the transformation of India and obviously for a generation that will live and work through the Amrit Kaal. These changes that I speak about are also visible, I think, in the field of education. I am in one of the premier educational institutions of this country. And, it's not just the growth of existing institutions. If you look at the number of medical colleges, nursing colleges, technology institutions, IT institutions, the manner in which today we are prepared to re-look at the mode of education and skills impartation. That whole family too is undergoing a change. And not least, a big part of that change is something called Make in India. Make in India as an expression of our ability to manufacture not just simple products but high value goods. Make in India even as a mindset. There is a term, Atmanirbhar Bharat, or many of you would be familiar with it. That confidence that we have to find our solutions, we have the capability of finding our solutions. And it is actually, pulling together a lot of the other factors, the socio-economic changes, the infrastructure, the talent, the skill, all of this gets actually pulled in to create Make in India. Now, obviously there are debates in our countries about a lot of this. There should be. There are even debates whether our politics should be Make in India, but I don't want to go into it. The bottom line is this. You are asking yourself, here's the foreign minister, there's the build-up he gave me, Why is this guy coming and talking to us about what's happening in domestic economy, domestic space? And I'll tell you the link which is so important for me. As a foreign minister, how seriously I am taken, how effectively I perform is a direct derivative of how we have done at home. You cannot do averagely at home and then be hugely respected abroad. It is our ability, it is our capability today. There is a term in our business, it's called comprehensive national power. So all that I have described to you, the human development indices, the infrastructure, the capabilities, the manufacturing, all of this is actually a feed into comprehensive national power. And we have seen at times that when our comprehensive national power is lacking, no amount of smart diplomacy is going to compensate for it. Because the rest of the world is not stupid. They know the pluses and minuses, the strengths and weaknesses of every other competing country. The second, of course, why I am stressing the domestic achievements is there is also a direct responsibility on foreign policy today to seek from the world the relationships and the transactions which will accelerate national development at home. So if you look at the foreign policy of a lot of the East Asian and Southeast Asian countries, one way in which many of them progressed was actually by seeking technology, best practices, capital from partners abroad. So foreign policy is not something which is divorced from what happens at home. It is both a reflection of what happens at home, it is also a driver of what happens at home. So to my mind, these are actually very integrated facets of what I would regard as a good foreign policy. And finally, a lot of what I've described in terms of developments at home are directly relevant to all of you, because this equips you to face the world. It actually not just makes you aware of what the world is, it is actually your better access, starting with health and nutrition and social and economic requirements, to your skills and your talent, to your creativity, to your ability to actually translate that into something meaningful. All of this actually equips you to face the world, and that is really why it is so essential when we look at the Amrit Kaal. So let's think of the 25 years ahead of us and ask yourself, today you are in your, let's say, early 20s. What awaits you? What awaits you in this world? What kind of world is it that you should be preparing for? All that I have spoken about, what difference could it make to you? So I would urge you to look at 4 aspects of the world that awaits you. The first is the world as a global workplace. A global workplace, because if you see where the skills and talents of the world are and where the demands for it are, the gaps are very visible. Demographics and demand are not congruent. In fact, in many areas, they are not even convergent. So, today, how do we prepare you for this global workplace, which will surely come? It's already, in the last, I'd say 3 years, 4 years, we see a great interest on the part of countries who are otherwise very insular in actually reaching mobility partnerships with us. Even at the beginning of this year, I had done one with Austria. Last December, I signed a mobility partnership with Germany. In the last few years, we have done this with the UK, with France, with Denmark, with Portugal. Even Japan, which has got quite a conservative policy, has something called specialized skills workers. So there is today this move towards actually integrating, because of technology, the global workplace, and that will require the talent and skill of India that all of you represent. To think of your future prospects